What's up, guys? So earlier today, and when I say earlier today, I mean about like 10 minutes ago, I checked out a video called An Architect Reviews the 600i Star Citizen by Morphologis. But now this video caught my eye at the end, and this one is called An Architect Redesigns the 600i Touring Star Citizen. So welcome back, guys, to another Star Citizen video. If you're new channel, welcome. This video is by Morphologis. So shout out and credit goes to Morphologis, who is, according from what I've been hearing in his videos, he is an architect based out of Taiwan. Now, judging by the title of this video, it says Redesigns the 600i Touring. So it doesn't sound like something the developers and the people in Star Citizen did. This sounds like something he did personally, like he redesigned the 600i, if I'm reading this correctly. Or maybe it's something, an update that was given in Star Citizen and the developers did it, but who knows? We'll just see how it goes. But there was a lot of things to improve that could have been done to improve the 600i in the very first video. And we'll see what Morphologis has to show us. So without anything else, let's just jump right into it. Ship still looks cool. Whoa, look at that trail of light behind it.
For all of its shortcomings, the 600i still remains to be one of the most beautiful ships in Star Citizen. Hey guys, I'm Morphologis, and in this video we're going to be taking a look back at the 600i, this time at the Touring module, before we've already reviewed the Exploration module featured here on the right. The new Touring module features a bit more luxury, adding 4 berths and a lobby in place of the former vehicle bay and the exploration features on the upper deck.
Look like
originally I was going to make
spiral
this an architect
staircase?
reviews, going over the ship and providing a bit of constructive criticism like I usually do. However, I decided to do something a little bit different, and that's actually show you guys, using my own skills in modeling, what I might change about the new interior design. Now, I won't be doing the whole ship because that was already covered in my last 600i video. I'm just going to be focusing on the Touring module part of the ship. We'll first go over what the current Touring module looks like, and then afterward, my changes. Now, I want to establish this right away. I am not trying to make this video to bring down CIG, to say that they've done a bad job. They really haven't. Design is an iterative process, and every version is going to be just a little bit better, so I have the benefit of seeing what is and thinking about what could be. So keep that in mind as we go through the video.
So two things. One, so it is him redesigning it, not something developers do. And two, yeah, that's the one thing people don't seem to understand. They think just because it's a negative criticism that, I mean, they receive feedback or criticism, they think, oh, God, man, he's just putting me down or anything like that. No, I mean, sometimes you could look at it, sure, maybe the way it's presented or the way it sounds could sound a little negative or a little harsh. But however, if you take that into heart and actually read it, then you can see how you can improve. Like, for instance, many people will say, hey, could you like turn the sound down, or could you make yourself bigger in reaction videos, things like that. So, I get it. Sometimes the way the viewers and subscribers, they put in my comments, the way they make it sound like, man, dude, you did a terrible job, man. Why are you even doing this? Oh, your editing skills are horrible. But it did not stop me from stop me from continuing on YouTube. I'm still here. However, when I read those comments, I took that to heart and said, okay, so I need to work on this. I need to do this more. Okay, so let's fix this. And now my videos are a lot better compared to a year ago. So every time you guys receive feedback or criticism, look at it in a positive way and look for a way to improve and also become better. That's just my personal advice to you guys. I know you guys probably didn't expect me to say something like this at the beginning of the video or in the video in general. All right, let's check out the redesign.
My primary criticism of the 600i
Man,
has
look at that
always been
staircase.
that too much space came off as underdeveloped. What seemed to have been intentionally made as luxurious space just ended up feeling left over. I think part of the reason for this was that they were thinking of giving you space to add things in the future, but in my opinion, some of those spaces were just too small to actually feasibly have objects in them and still feel comfortable. Moving aft from the bridge on the second deck, we're presented with 3 berths on the left and 1 on the right, large double-height space and a sculptural staircase in the center. Now, the berths here on the upper deck are actually quite comfortably sized. However, you will note that they actually don't have any windows in them, and this is probably one of my biggest gripes with this ship, and that's the lack of visual connection with the outside world.
Oh yeah, that's right. He mentioned
and that's
that.
really the only thing I would change about these spaces, because I think that they're actually already quite successfully organized, and I really wouldn't change much else about them. The needs of the user were also well considered. There's a little pop-out TV that comes out of this half wall at the foot of the bed. There's also a small useful bed minus a chair, which is a bit strange, but we'll kind of ignore that. And the bathroom itself is also very well organized. It's very tiny, but actually still feels spacious because of the way it was organized. I've seen smaller bathrooms in Japan.
Oh
but
yeah.
Now let's go down to the
I've seen some really small bathrooms in Okinawa.
main lobby area. This serves as the entry point for anybody entering the 600i, as it's the only ingress and egress point currently on the ship. The strongest feature of this space is the beautiful staircase here, suspended from the ceiling and partially supported by this central glass column. This to me is one of the most successful parts of the space. Because of the way it's been designed as a series of platforms suspended from the ceiling, it's visually very light and allows a lot of actual light to pass through, giving a sense that the space is larger than it actually is. The attention to detail in here, despite the overall simplistic look, is also quite spectacular. The stairways are covered in what looks to be a rubber material, no doubt to add a bit more safety while going up and down the stairs. The materiality of this space is also very distinct, and I think it fits very well within the design language or set of rules that define what a design looks like for the Origin series of ships. I also don't think that the space is over-detailed in terms of how they've panelized the walls to make them feel a bit more realistic. I actually quite appreciate that. I also very much like the warm wood floors, the clean white walls, the accented exotic stone, and the green plantings to give the space a bit more softness, because it might otherwise feel, in my mind, a bit sterile without it.
This looks great.
There's also a very specific detail in here which I think really truly helps break the space down, and that's this recess in the floor that steps down.
For me personally, the central glass column in the middle, like right here, instead of plants, what would have been cool, but then again, the maintenance will be crazy. Like I've seen this in like several videos, kind of something similar, like an aquarium. You know, like you can see water and fish, things like that. That would have been really cool to see. But then again, the maintenance on that thing would cost a lot more and things like that. Or instead of just small plants like that, maybe like a tree in the middle or something, you know, tall and covering more of it. But then again, that's just me. I'm not an interior designer or things like that. That's just something I want to just throw out there.
Down to the seating area. This helps make the space, which would otherwise feel very large, feel a bit more intimate so that you can have one-on-one conversations or conversations within a group. However, I see a core issue with this design, and that's not about the way it's been detailed or the way it's been arranged. I think that those are perfectly adequate. It's the idea of what purpose this room actually serves. You see, in the program or the spaces and amenities that are in this design, we already have a great conversation space with superior views than that of the lobby. The aft section also has a number of activities it can support, such as cooking and eating, a fun conversation area, a dedicated pool table or activity room, and a bar actually on the upper deck. And so my fear would be that that lobby area wouldn't in reality be utilized, and so you've got a huge amount of space that would be kind of wasted just because it's redundant in the design of the 600i. And that's a real shame, because I think there are some core features in this lobby that could have given this space a real identity, a real reason to visit it, like this very small window in the floor. What if, I asked, they had a little bit more time to iterate on these ideas? Well, in the next part of this video, we're going to explore that idea.
Wait, what's this? Altan Mobasa is requesting combat assistance in deep space. If you accept it, you'll pay 290 UEC upon elimination of the threat. Oh, I guess this is someone that he's friends with in the game.
With my own take on the next version of the 600i's touring model.
Oh, got some people in here. Yeah, like that. So this one has a cactus. Maybe something like that in the other central column as well. Is the forest below, like you can see that below, is that the planet? So this is like a glass floor. I mean, the redesign, all that looks pretty cool, but for me personally, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not fan. I'm not a huge fan of glass floors, to be honest. But still, this design looks pretty cool. This redesign.
So first, yes, I know, it's not as detailed as the Star Citizen version, but to be fair, I actually didn't
still
start
looks amazing
from that model. I had to build all this from scratch, actually, and it took me about 10 hours. You can see the whole stream where I actually live streamed this whole process over on my Twitch channel if you're curious. This was done on a program called Rhino 6, that's how I built the model, and then it was imported into a program called Lumium. Lumium allows me to place lights and textures in real time and see how the lighting effects will actually work, something that Rhino currently doesn't allow me to do. If I did it in Rhino, I'd actually have to render it and would only be an image. So that's kind of unfortunate about that program. It's kind of the way that architecture works. We don't have anything that's really streamlined like the gaming industry, and that's one of my biggest gripes with our tool set, is that we can't actually see what the product looks like until we've kind of packaged everything and exported it. So I kind of envy CIG's tools in that sense. So now let's go over the changes that I've made. So this design really iterates on some really cool ideas.
I mean, that's like how it is for me when it comes to YouTube videos. I don't know how it looks like, or, well, I mean, I can see what it kind of looks like, but I don't know the volume or like the final volume of things or how the video looks like, the quality of it, until I export it as well. And that does take time depending on how long the videos are. So I kind of feel for him there.
Ideas. One of the best ideas of the original design was this window that looked down below, but I always felt it was a little too small to actually use. In this version, I've made it a lot bigger, and we know that glass in this universe is a lot stronger. It's more like steel in Star Citizen, and so we could probably get away with spanning a distance like this. We can almost do this actually.
The glass better not be just bulletproof, it better be explosive proof, it better be nuclear proof.
Presently, with current technology and polycarbonates. So I think that this wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility. Also, I've integrated the couches into the sides of the stairs instead of them being floating objects in the middle of the room, making it feel a little bit more integrated into the space. I also thought it'd be nice to add some lighting beneath the steps so that if you wanted to dim the peripheral lights to view what was below more clearly, that you could do that and still see where you were going. I also thought that adding a library would add a bit of sophistication to the space, making it a bit more purposeful. Now you can sit and enjoy the view below while you take a read in a very exotic and expensive paper book that at this time would be extremely rare. The stairs too have also been changed so that as
everything
you
will be a
enter the
tablet.
600i through its only entry point, that you're presented with the foot of the stair instead of having to cross the room to get up to the second level. The other advantage here is that the landing is no longer in the center of the room, making it more open and providing more views from above to below and vice versa. I've also removed the horizontal line which broke up the first and second deck and added a continuous feature in the design language of Origin using curved and slanted edges with no 90-degree angles. To recap again, the design language is a set of rules established by the designer that defines the rest of the ship. Certain angles are always kept. When you make an opening, you always have a certain chamfer or fillet, a curve, into the space. And so I wanted to keep that aesthetic while I redesigned the interior of the touring module. I've also decided to make use of the space beneath the stairs because they would otherwise be kind of unusable. It's very uncomfortable to walk underneath stairs, especially with people walking up and down them, and so I decided to extend the planter all the way to the wall. Now there are a number of things you could actually do with this. You could have a water tank in the center with fish in it instead of a cactus. You could have a
What do you know? Great minds think alike. Like I said, guys, I am not an expert, but I guess I know just a few more things that just my ideas do come across certain great minds more than I think, because that is what I said about like what 6 minutes ago, and Morphologis said the same thing too as a suggestion. Wow.
Water wall along that back wall.
Water
there.
wall.
Or
Oh
it could
yeah.
be a display
Or maybe an aquarium on the wall instead of this glass column. That would be cool, but like I said, the maintenance,
of exotic animals or weapons or pretty much whatever you like.
all weapons.
The upper levels changes are more minor. I didn't want to change
That's
the
what I would do.
detailing
Weapons on the
overall
wall.
for it because I thought it was actually quite clean. Instead, I made the lighting a bit more subdued and added this accent recessed light along the side, providing a place to actually light it during an emergency. These could light up red, and provide some nice subdued lighting if you wanted to dim again the peripheral lights to emphasize the views down below through the now gigantic glass window on the first floor. Now, although this recess isn't as refined as I would like it to be, I think it still fits within the design language that was already established by Origin, and the blue lining is of course their accent color that is featured now on the 300i as well as both variants of the 600i. Now, my girlfriend also happens to be an architect, and she was actually really interested in what I was doing and wanted to have her own try at redoing the interior's materials set. And so she
Wow.
actually made this version herself. She replaced the center with a water tank for holding fish and exotic, water creatures. And
His girlfriend's an
material's a lot
architect too.
darker,
Wow.
and the lighting's a bit more subdued, and I think this is actually really, really attractive. Which makes me think that the customization feature that they added in with the 300i is
She did a great job with that right there. The water feature on that.
gonna make the 600i so much cooler once they integrate that into the game. Now, unfortunately, as I said before, it's not quite as detailed as the CIG model because they didn't have their textures to use, and that's kind of unfortunate. I think it would add a bit more depth, complexity, and realism to the space if those would have been used. So I want to compliment CIG on their detail work. They have done an amazing job on the 600i. If I could have integrated that into this design, I think it might have been perfect. In conclusion, guys, the 600i Touring version is an excellent ship. The detailing is fantastic, and the interior space is certainly appealing. If they had a little bit more time to iterate, I think they would have come up with something just as cool as this. And so I don't want it to be anything against CIG. By any industry standard, their work is phenomenal. The work you've seen here is really just iteration. It's taking ideas that were already established by a very creative person and kind of expanding on them, seeing what direction they could go if you took them to maybe the next level. This was a labor of love. I really don't expect them to take any of these changes into consideration and to change the 600i too much.
I hope they do, because you did a great job.
It's just a great case study in what could be if there were more iterations done on the specific touring module. Maybe they'll consider it for the 890 jump, though I think they already have considered some of the community's feedback, including the waste of space, in the 890, as they said in their latest update video
on the 890
jump. I'm sure many of you are now curious about how I actually did this, and again, if you're interested, I have the entire 10 hours documented on my Twitch channel in the video section.
A 10-hour stream
down in the description below. You can skim through it and actually see the whole process as I went from zero to hero in that video. If this turns out to be well received, I might end up doing more of these. Of course, I won't continually redesign the same ship. I'll just choose different things to try out. Maybe I'll design a whole new ship myself or something. I don't know, like something that doesn't exist. Or experiment with other games, or maybe mod.
If he designs a whole ship out of scratch and it receives really good feedback, he could probably sell it to Star Citizen.
Some models for space engineers. So there's a number of things I could do if people really find it interesting and informative when I use these sorts of tools. The reason why I know how to use them so well, again, is because, I use them every day in my real-world profession. And so putting this together was actually kind of a great way for me to learn a bit more about my own tool set and prepare for the coming week when I actually have to make an animation in this very program for a very big client in Malaysia. Some of you may be curious about a download link. I currently don't know where I would put that, and I don't have one set up. But if it really becomes highly demanded, I might consider putting it up somewhere for you guys to try out for yourself. But what would you guys do if you could change this yourself? What sort of changes would you make? What would you combine from what you've seen, or what sort of new features do you think you would like to add? I want to know down in the comment section below. And of course, if you thought this video was informative or entertaining or
It was
anything,
great.
if you liked it.
I really
make
liked
sure
it,
you
yeah.
give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you're alerted the next time I post a video. And as I always tend to end these videos, I hope to see you guys next time.
Now that was amazing. So instead of just reviewing a ship, he redesigns it, and that's the very first kind of video I've seen from Morphologis, and he did an amazing job. And his girlfriend's an architect too, and she also did an amazing job too, man. That's a power couple right there. Oh wow, but this is really great, and I really like how he took all those flaws and also ways of improvement and turned it into his own thing of redesigning. And I say the redesign looks fantastic. I mean, if he could pass that up to Star Citizen, he could literally sell that design to them. But either way, this is a really great video, and I'm really happy I caught it before. Not before. I caught it at the end of the last video. Otherwise, I would have just skipped over this completely. So that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. If there's another an architect reviews video you guys want me to check out, please put it down in the comments below and I'll get to it when I can. But besides that, shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. And once again, shout out and credit goes to Morphologis and his girlfriend for the redesign. So without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.